Hello everyone, this is Balaji.K.R signing in for Brain Smart Labs. You all must be knowing what I'm going to teach today. What was pending yesterday that you will teach today. ಅದರಲ್ಲೇನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಲೀ ಓಡಿಸ್ರವನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಚೆ. Now before we move into this topic, let us all recall what we did in our previous session. In our previous session, Understanding Loops Part 1, we saw looping statements in Java are those statements which are used to make a few lines of code work repeatedly in a program. A looping condition present inside a loop statement always brings a loop to a halt when the given condition expires. There are three types of loops defined in Java, that is A. For loop, B. While loop, and C. Do while loop. For loop in Java has a generic structure and it contains A. Counter initialization, B. Looping condition, C. Body of the loop, and D. Increment or decrement zone. In our program loopsdemo1.java, we saw how does a for loop work in Java. Next we saw the structure of a while loop, wherein the counter here is initialized on top and is always outside the loop. Adding a counter for a while loop is not at all compulsory for a programmer. The while loop in Java only defines a looping condition, and the rest of the things like adding a loop counter, placing of logic balancers are completely left to the liberty of a programmer. With the help of a program loopsdemo2.java, we saw the working of a while loop, which is very similar to our while loop used in other programming languages. In our program loopsdemo3.java, we saw how a loop can be used in real time, that is to iterate an array using a basic for loop and display its values. We also saw the difference between for loop and while loop, which is always an important interview question asked in your interviews. Last but not the least, we gave you a do-it-yourself assignment of a for loop with a different counter name and a different increment step size. Hope you have done the same and got your output. In today's class, let us see how a do-while loop and enhanced for loop is structured and how it will function in Java.
Structure of a do-while loop.
The do-while loop in Java is structured as follows. Initially, as usual, a looping counter is set outside the loop, just as seen in our previous while loop program. Here the do statement, which comes first, instructs the program control to execute the lines below, that is nothing but our loop body. A loop body practically can contain anything, but here in this program we have a simple print statement to execute. The loop body here also contains a logic balancer, which is explicitly added by a programmer to increment or decrement the counter value for every loop cycle. Once the loop body completes execution in a loop cycle, the program control reaches the while statement where our looping condition is actually present. The looping condition here checks for its validity for it to decide whether to move on with the next iteration or to exit the loop permanently. Now in the program loopsdemo4.java, insert the do while loop in our program as seen over here. Compile the program by pressing Ctrl 1, which will result in 0 errors after compilation. Now run the program by pressing Ctrl 2 and kaboom! You get the following print statement, my name is Balaji, executed 5 times. Once the loop completes its execution, the program control has come out of the loop to execute our remaining statements present below till the end of the program as seen over here. The same program can be written the other way around. Consider a do-while loop with an external counter value set as numerical 5 followed by a do statement as seen over here. A loop body practically can contain any number of statements, but here in this program, let us write only one print statement, my name is Balaji, as in our previous example. The logic balancer here, which is to be added explicitly in this program, decrements the counter value by 1 for every loop cycle. The while statement present here checks for the looping condition where the counter value should always be greater than 0. The following loop, when inserted to our program, compiles the same with 0 errors when pressed Ctrl 1. The program when run as you press Ctrl 2 gives the following print statement: my name is Balaji, executed 5 times as seen in our previous example. Dude, wait. Is it not very similar to our while loop? I don't see much difference between a while loop and a do while loop. You are absolutely right. There is no much difference between a while loop and a do while loop. The only difference what you can notice is a while loop is an entry control loop which checks for the condition always at start, whereas a do while loop is an exit control loop which checks for the condition at the end of each loop cycle. Now let us not waste much time, let us start seeing the working of a do while loop.
Working of a do while loop.
In our program loopsdemo4.java, the program control initially starts executing our main method as it is the starting point of execution in any Java program. Initially, a counter variable bearing name I is initialized to 0, that is in line number 5. The program control now reaches the do statement which instructs the program control to proceed with the loop body. Once the program control enters the loop body, it starts executing all the statements present inside line after line till it reaches line number 11. During the execution of a loop body, the program control reaches the explicitly added logic balancer in line number 10, which increments the counter value by 1 for every loop cycle. As the program control completes the execution of our loop body for one loop cycle, it reaches the while statement in line number 12 where our looping condition is checked for validity. If the looping condition turns out to be true, the program control again reaches the do statement in line number 7 for it to repeat the cycle again and again. Once the looping condition present in our while statement turns out to be false, the program control skips the loop body and it brings a loop to a halt. The program control executes the remaining statements present below till line number 14 and ends the execution of our program in peace. Now that ends the explanation of do while loop in Java. Now here is an important interview question for you. What is the difference between a while loop and a do while loop?
Difference between while loop and a do while loop.
The structure of a while loop says the looping condition present will be at the entry of a loop body, whereas the structure of a do while loop says the looping condition present will be always at the exit of a loop body. In a while loop, condition is checked before entering the loop body, whereas in a do while loop, condition is checked after executing the loop body. In a while loop, the body of a loop is not at all executed if the condition turns out to be false initially, whereas in a do while loop, the body of a loop is executed at least one time even if the condition fails initially. A while loop is an entry control loop as the looping condition is compulsorily checked at start, whereas a do while loop is an exit control loop as the looping condition is always checked at last. Dude, that and all okay, but what exactly are these logic balancers? What will happen if we don't add them in our loops? ಲೇ ಹಂಗೇನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಗಿಡಿಯಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಭೋಸು, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡಲಿ.
Logic balances are critical in loops.
In our previous program loopsdemo2.java, suppose, only suppose, if we remove the explicitly added logic balancer in line number 10, the program compiles just fine when we press Ctrl 1. But once you trigger the program by pressing Ctrl 2, you are at a risk of entering an infinite loop. That is, first the program control executes our main method, and as it slowly moves to line number 7, it enters the loop for the first cycle as the looping condition turns out to be true. The loop continues to execute for the second cycle, and then the third cycle, and then the fourth cycle, and then God only should save you. So my kind advice to everyone out there is, ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ದಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಧಿಕ ಪ್ರಸಂಗತನ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Enhanced for loop in Java.
ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪ್ ಕೇಳಿದೀನಿ, ಓಕೆ. ಇದೇನಿದೆ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪು? ಯಾಕ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಸಿಲ್ವೇನಾ? ಸುಮ್ಕಿರುಗುರು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓವರ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಅಷ್ಟಲ್ಲೇ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಉಸಿರು ಕಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನೆ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಪೆನಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಗತಿ ಅದೋ ಗತಿ. ಸರಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು. Now that brings me to explain you one of the most interesting feature in Java which was recently introduced in Java version 5.0. It is the latest feature in Java and you cannot see this in any of the primitive languages like C or C++ or any version of Java before 5.0. In general, enhanced for loop is used to iterate arrays and various collections present in Java, that is hash set, hash map, tree set, tree map and so on, where everything I'll be teaching you in detail in my future classes. So why waste time now? Let us start seeing the structure and working of enhanced for loop in Java.
Enhanced for loop structure.
To visualize the structure of an enhanced for loop, let us first consider an array iteration program. In the below program loopsdemo5.java, a numerical integer array by name z is declared in line number 6. Followed by the above declaration in line number 9, there lies a for loop that will iterate the above array, which uses its loop counter variable as a reference to our array index. Yeah, that's the usual for loop. Now what's so enhanced in that? The above code, which follows counter index mechanism, becomes more complicated while accessing our array values. To solve the above problem, Java gave us enhanced for loop from version 5. The enhanced for loop structure in Java is very simple for you to know. That is for of int a colon z. Here int a variable represents a temporary placeholder for a value that holds the value of an array for each loop cycle. The z we have marked over here is nothing but the name of the given array which is to be iterated in our program. The for loop statement is followed by a loop body which can contain any set of statements that is to be executed pertaining to the current value of an array. The enhanced for loop in Java does not have a counter or a counter increment zone. It is supported with an inbuilt internal counter increment mechanism that will work only at the back end, which as a user we cannot see. The above seen enhanced for loop, when inserted to a program that is loopsdemo5.java, it compiles just fine as we press the button Ctrl 1. As you press Ctrl 2, the code executes and displays all the values in our array without any complication. Yena? ಫಾರು ಇಂಟು ಕೋಲನ್ನು ಝೆಡ್ಡಾ? ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ಸನ್ನು ಮೀರಿಸ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲ ಗುರು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡು. ವೆಲ್, ಐ ನೋ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸೀವ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್, ಬಟ್ ಯಾ, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನ್ ಎನ್ಹಾನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೂಪ್.
Working of an enhanced for loop.
In this program, as you can see, an array integer z is declared and initialized in line number 5. Once the program control reaches line number 5, an array object is created in our memory with values 55, 65, 75, 85 and 95. In line number 7, we have declared our enhanced for loop which says for of int a colon z. This means int a is a local variable created inside our for loop just to hold the value of an array for the current index. JVM always starts iterating from 0th index, and so the first value in 0th index, that is literal value 55, falls into our local variable a. Inside the loop body, anywhere if we access variable a, we get the numerical value 55, which is nothing but the value present in the 0th index of our array. Similarly, in the next loop cycle, the literal value present in the first index of our array, that is numerical value 65, falls into our local variable a. When the program control enters the loop body, value present in the first array index can be now accessed using our local variable a till the loop cycle expires. The above process will continue again and again as seen here in this illustration. When the loop reaches to a stage where no further indexes are left to iterate, as the index goes out of bound, the program control skips the execution of the loop body to execute the remaining statements in our program as usual in peace. Now that clears the working of enhance for loop for you. By seeing this example, any muttad also will be able to understand what is enhance for loop and why it is used. Now here is a do-it-yourself assignment for you. Write a program using enhance for loop to add all the numbers present in an integer array. Execute the program and analyze it line by line. This will help you understand the working of an enhance for loop in a better way. It's challenging. Dude, I have a genuine doubt. You have showed us 4 major loops till now. Enhance for loop is solely used to iterate arrays, that I understand. But for the other 3 loops, which loop should I use in my programs and where? Well, that's one of the most commonly asked questions I always hear from my students. That is, which loop should I use in my program? Should I use a for loop with a detailed structure? Or should I use a while loop which is very flexible in nature? Or should I use a do while loop which is an exit control loop? Answer is simple. It's scenario. Scenario what? Yes. It's a program scenario which tells you what loop to use. As a programmer, if you feel that your loop has a defined structure, you can go with a for loop. If at all you feel you need more flexibility using the counter, either you can go for a while loop or a do while loop. Well, again, it's all programming scenario and I cannot tell you about it everything right now. It comes with true experience, and for today, all you are typing is your chilre palre chota mota programs. Experience actually comes while typing big programs when you work on real-time projects in your companies. For now, don't worry much about these things. I'll be explaining you everything when I teach you real-time projects, and that's not too far. For now, that completes part 2 of understanding loops. Answer key for do-it-yourself assignment can be seen at the end of this video. From tomorrow, we will be seeing more into loops with break and continue statements. Make notes for every step what I tell, or you will end up in soup later. Do text us your doubts on WhatsApp if you have any, so that we can solve it for you. Remember, you understanding the subject is our topmost priority. Subscribe to this channel to stay updated for our next video release. Till then, this is Balaji.K.R signing out, and you know what to do. Muchkond code ಮಾಡಿ.